My second milestone was to load the base project and work on modifications. So the first thing I worked on is date and time, which is year, time is hours, minutes, seconds, and the date underneath is month, date, and year. So first I started off by using .get function, which is like .get month, .get hours, .get year, anything that's related to time for me. And to pull out the data, after that I showed it on my localhost 3000 page so it'll be visible. After that I realized that it did not refresh at all when it's supposed to be moving. So I figured that I have to use set interval function to make it work. I set the interval to 1000 milliseconds and to make it moving. And after that, clear interval, so it won't be confusing. Here's my codes that I wrote. These are pretty long codes repeating the get hours. I also learned how to use style sheet in React, which I never have touched, and I got used to it after doing some practice. The next thing I worked on was a weather. For the weather, I used API, Open Weather API, to show the current status to my server. So this is what I have: Celsius, Fahrenheit, and the current state, like clear sky or cloudy or anything. So first I started off by getting the website address of the API using the API key and stuff. And I used Axios to pull the data out and show it there. Axios.get was the function I used particularly. And after getting the data out, I took the data out from the console, which was not visible at first, but for example, for the Celsius, I did console response.data.main.temperature, which is a temperature, and it was Kelvin, so I converted to Celsius using the math round function and subtracting the Kelvin basic one to the 2731. After that, I just did some constant to show it on the localhost 3000, and here are my codes all the way through. Finally, the last thing I worked on was calendar. Calendar is just showing what I have on Google Calendar API, Google Calendar, since I use the Google Calendar API. It has my plans of like events, titles, and the start time of the event. For Google Calendar API, I had to do some few steps to figure it out how to get the website, which is like this HTTP website, using my email to figure it out, the Google Calendar account, and some timestamps, strings, and API key again. I also use Axios on the Google Calendar since it's an API, same as weather. And I did intervals to take the 360,000 milliseconds and clear an interval. For the calendar, I had to use the end.summary function when pulling out the data from console, same as weather. I had to do response, move to data, move to items, and move to .map, which is move to map, and had to use the arrow function to take the summary particularly out, since the calendar had array of the events, and I couldn't just pull the array out randomly from the console. And that was a little hard for me to understand at first, but I figured it out afterwards. And this is my codes. It has some HTTP website URL, and like axios.get and styles. After getting the old datas out and like showing it here, I did some like padding, margin, font size, font family, styling on the style sheet, and this is my final look.